Hello. Good afternoon. My name is Debbie, co-founder of your Discovery Coach, and I'm here on another Friday Live, bringing you another interesting topic. We're going to be discussing in the next 30 to 45 minutes, thereabout. How have you been? How's your week? How's your How's your week been? How is your holiday going for those of us who have kids on holidays? And yes. Thank you for always joining me. Thank you for your time. Thank you for just being here with me on a Friday live. Yeah, let's go. Hoo. Last week um we spoke about sorry, excuse me. Last week we started a 6-week series, and we said we're going to be running the series for 6 weeks. We spoke about the stories our faces tell, how our expression hold emotional history. And this week, we're going to be taking it one step further, just one of those expressions that we talked about, when we said, our faces hold expressions. But today, we're just going to take one topic, one expression rather, and that's behind the smile. What's that thing behind the smile? What's the thing behind the smile? What's the emotion behind the smile? What's the feeling behind the smile? What's the burden behind the smile? What's the burden, of performing strength? We're going to be taking that in the next 30 to 45 minutes. And yes, let's just get right on it. So, welcome once again if you're just joining us. We're zooming in on one expression, like I've just said, and it's not the smile of joy I'm going to be talking about, because yes, there's a smile of joy, but we're going to be talking about one smile that we have put up just because we have practiced it over time. So the smile is expected. Someone says, "How are you?" and you're expected to smile and say, "I am fine." Those are the practices. That's the expectation. Someone says, "How are you doing?" You're expected to say, "Fine," and then smile. I'm not talking about the one that your heart has mastered, that your face has mastered. Then I want you to remember, just think about that time that you smiled, but deep down there's a burden inside your heart. There's a heaviness inside your heart, but you're forced to smile because, well, that's what we do. So that smile that makes people say, "Oh, you're such a strong person, you're such a strong girl. She has strength, she has vigor, she's always just going." That smile, that's the one we're talking about. But deep down that smile is not real. So what are we talking about here? We're going to be unraveling the hidden burden of performing strength. And we've all been there. Well, maybe not all of us, but I have been there. You're on the school runs, you've attended to so many phone calls, you're holding space for everybody's needs. You help the kids do their homework, or you direct the kids to do their homework. You've done the laundry, you've done this, you've done that. And it just feels like I'm supposed to have this all together. Good afternoon, Ayo. Thank you very much for joining us again on the Friday Live. And then you just look at yourself and you're like, you guys don't even know what I'm going through right now. I just feel like crying. I just feel like breaking down. But even the cry itself, you're too tired to cry. Where does this thing come from? Where we have to keep on acting strong? This 6-week series is all about looking at our emotional history. Where do we get this thing that we need to keep going? Recently, I was on social media and I heard a story of a lady. I don't have the means to verify, but this is the story as put up by her family members or maybe her friends. I don't know. She said she'd been going for a very, very long time. She's not rested. A lot of people pride themselves in, working two jobs, doing everything to make sure that the house is together. And she just said she put on social media that whatever her name is, let's call her Sarah. Sarah needs to rest. And the next in 3 days, they found out that she had died. So she put the "I need to rest" as per really rest. Like she hasn't been resting for a long time. Poor sleep, this, that. And they had said, when I was reading through, because I was very fascinated by the story, when I was reading through the comments, they had said, she was always strong, always there for her family, always there for her children, while trying to, make ends meet and everything. And I thought about it, it's not just a one person story. Sometimes we go, we go, we go, we go. Sometimes we keep, we press the throttle, and we're not slowing down because things must be done. And I understand that things must be done. I've been there, but where did we learn this from? Where did we carry this expectation that, women have to be strong, women have to be this, women, especially for the ones who find it difficult to ask for help? Where did this emotional history come from? It's something that is called the strong mom persona, and it's a learned role. It's a strong mom persona. So it's a superwoman schema. Is that personality or persona that tells you that you have to be strong. So you hear things like, when I was growing up, for one, I heard things like, you have to be strong. In fact, I would say, my mom used to say a lot, like when she carries things from the fire without the cloth, and I'm like, ha ha ha, and then she has this thing from my niece and I, we joke about it till now. She's like, ha ha ha, like it's burning me, my fingers are burning. She would say things like, are you not a woman? And it's now that I'm an older person that I realize that, are you not a woman means, why are you screaming about hot handles and living in the kitchen? And when my niece comes to my house and she does the same thing, I'm like, are you not a woman? And now I say it as a joke because that's what I heard. But there's an expectation, even at that young age, that tells you, you need to be strong. Okay, you fell down. Get yourself up, clean yourself up. And I find that sometimes I even tell my girls the same in a way. I'm like, don't put too much thought to the pain. If you remove but the truth is, if you remove your mind from it, the pain will go. But I think it's just an expectation, especially for women or for moms who had to go through a lot in life to survive. They had this, survival narrative around them. They had to do so much to make sure that, they were being seen, or they were being heard, or they were being, or they were able to take care of their children or provide for their children. They might not have been the main providers of the house, but there's a survival narrative that says, you have to be strong. You can't allow your children to see you weak. So some of us have never, our moms went through, our parents went through that whole, sometimes a lot of our moms went through all that, they're not being happy in their marriage, but they won't let you see it. Just keep it together, keep your unhappiness to yourself, don't pass it on to your children. So we didn't honestly see them vulnerable. And it comes from a long line of expectations. It's not even just your mom's mom might have had the same expectation with for that kind of thing. I was reading Frances Rivers' books, and they had 3 series. There was one that she wrote that was a series of 3 generations of women, and I could see how this thing played out. The first woman, the first mom, the great grandmom, went through something and was in trying to prevent the daughter from going through the same thing. This became cold, sort of. So yeah, she was trying to tell her daughter was a sickly child. So she was trying to tell her daughter, you need to be strong. You can't just be falling sick. But it wasn't in a bad way. But obviously, the child received it in a bad way. So when she had her own child, she wasn't able to show pain. She wasn't able to show love to her child. And that one didn't now feel loved because the mom, she said she didn't feel like her mom loved her. By the time her great grandmother had realized the mistake, she started showing the love to the great granddaughter instead of showing the love to the mom. So the mom was like, why are you being nice to my daughter? I've always said it. You don't like me. You don't like me. And at the end of the day, the one who, ended the trauma and generational trauma was the one who she got in trouble, she got raped, she became something else, and then God came and saved her. I can't forget that story. For me, that story was just a beautiful illustration of how generational traumas pass on. So maybe your great grandmother, had to be strong. It was a no-brainer for her to be strong. So they pass on this narrative. So you hear a lot of women say, and unfortunately, say, I don't need a man. What a man can do, a woman can do better. These narratives come from somewhere. In in African American women are known, because I was reading the research and it was mind blowing. Some of them said things like, I had to learn how to be strong because the expectation for an average Black woman says that we're up to no good. So she learned being strong from her mom and decided that, okay, I'm going, this push yourself, push yourself, push yourself, keep pushing, keep pushing. So when she learned that kind of strength, others said, from where we are coming from, we've always learned to push back. So the ones who were in slavery per se learned how to push back, learned how to, stand, passed it on. And this thing is not just, in America. This thing is not just in England. Even in, in the part of the world where we come from, narratives are passed down. They might not be intentional, but they are passed down. They are not passing down in the sense that, okay, let's make these people resist help. No, that's maybe that was not the reason. But it comes down to us, and then we look at ourselves and we're saying, oh, I don't need anybody's help. I can't talk to anybody. I don't have friends. I have to be strong. I can't let my children see me cry. I can't be vulnerable to people. Well, I'm not saying that you need to be vulnerable to everyone, but everybody needs a hand. There's no man who is an island. Everybody needs a hand. And over time, when we put on that strength, when we put on the performance of being strong, it now then becomes our identity. I was talking about the superwoman schema, and there was this research. The research I was reading was from Giscom 2010. It was saying, it was looking at the cultural and psychological pattern when women suppress vulnerability to meet expectations. So you are expected to, so then you suppress who you are, and then it becomes the identity. So are you really strong, mom? Or have you been taught that you just need to be strong, so it now becomes your identity? So everybody sees you as strong. You can't rest, you can't sit down, you can't put your feet up, you can't leave the kids for 1 hour with someone else to have a break, because you feel like everything has to be you. You keep saying things like, if I don't do anything in this house, nobody will do it. If I don't clean this house, nobody will do it. You teach your children how to clean the house, but they don't clean to your expectations. You start to clean all over again. Are you helping them, or are you helping yourself? What are you exactly doing? So you're also passing them to a message that the only person that can do anything well in this house is the mom. And then they get to teenage age and they say, okay, since it's only you that can, how you want your house and you want your house to clean, they start to resist because they have never really felt appreciated for the kind of chores, for the chores that they do. Because you're constantly, this is not how to do it, this is not how to do it. Just put your feet up. Even the cleaning, if the 7-year-old cleans, if the 10-year-old cleans, it may not be perfect, but can you just enjoy the mess? As in, it's hard. I'm saying it, but it's hard. Enjoy it. Let them understand that, okay, I want you to be able to take charge. Take charge. Because when you refuse to relinquish, the authority or the control, you're telling everybody, you're sending a message, even to maybe your husband or your spouses or your friends, I don't need help. But we all know that is not true. There was no man, I will say again, who was created an island. So smiling here can be a survival strategy. Smiling activates dopamine and endorphins. It helps you feel good. So when you smile, you're there's a feel good feeling. So your body might just learn to self-soothe with a smile, even when you are in pain. Enjoy the kids' effort in cleaning. Enjoy it too. Even when you're in pain. So your body has learned, self-soothing. Your body has just learned to self-soothe. So it tells you smile. You're dying inside. Just smile. So it can become a survival strategy. But it also sends a false signal that we don't need help. And that's the danger. So at this point, I'm just going to ask one question. Who is that one person you can call? You don't have to have the whole world to be able to speak to. You don't have to come to social media to write about your problems. But who's that one person you can call that you can be yourself with? You don't have to be pretending. Everybody needs that one person. 2, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe. But everybody needs that person where they can be vulnerable enough to admit they need help. Because when you start to fake, or when your body starts to tell, or when your personality starts to send a signal of I don't need help, nobody knows when to actually step in. And it's a very dangerous place to be, because nobody knows how to help you. Nobody knows when to step in. Nobody knows when to tell you to sit down. I've worked in a bank where people just came to work in the morning. They walked into work by themselves and they slummed. So something was definitely wrong. You were sensing in your body that, oh, maybe I should go and see the doctor. Maybe I should go and see the hospital. But who will do the things that I have to do? You started asking yourself that question. And then one to something leads to the other, and God forbid. Do you understand? So who is that one person you can let down your guard? That's my one question for you today. My first question for you today. The cost of always being fine. When everybody asks, people ask you, I'm not saying that when they ask you how are you, you start to give them 16 minutes of your problem. No, that's why I keep asking, who is that one person? You're always fine. People ask you, oh, I'm fine. Things are things are chaotic inside of you. Things are, things are things are chaotic inside of you. Things are not going fine inside of you. You feel very agitated about stuff, but everybody asks you, say you're fine. So when we carry on this practice, we silence our needs. We detach from our emotions. It's possible to detach from your emotions. Some people have this stoic look, like straight face. Nobody can actually tell what they're feeling. Nobody can tell what they're thinking. You just get detached from your emotions. This cold look. You perform instead of living. So I'm going to ask you my second question for today. Are you performing, or are you actually living? So are you carrying so much burden inside of you, but your smile is telling the whole world otherwise, and you're telling yourself you're fine, you're fine, you're fine. Are you really fine? So there are three identities within the superwoman schema, or the supermom schema, that I'm going to be looking at, and then we'll go on. The first one is the unbreakable one. That one, she's always present, she's always strong, she's always capable, always resilient. She never misses a day of anything. She's always put together. Every time you see her, everybody wants help. It's her number. Even when she's overwhelmed, you won't know. It's a skill, oh. It's a skill. It's a nice skill to have. But again, that same question I asked the first time. Who is that one person that you can go to and say you're overwhelmed? Because it's not a healthy identity to have. You're constantly fine. We know it's good. It's good to be put together, but you need to be able to decompress, because sometimes when you don't decompress and you keep suppressing, you will explode. Sometimes explosion is not even in verbal, in your verbal, in being verbal. It could be your health. It could be any other thing. So who is that one person that you can actually let down your guard for? Are you the unbreakable one? Please find that one person. The internal narrative that unbreakable one has is, I can't let anyone see me struggle. I can't let anyone see me struggle. They equate showing weakness with failure. If I tell people how I feel, then it feels like I have failed. And it's not true. Failure is not even the end game. Failure is just it's part of the success game. It's not the end of the world. If you fail, then you learn from it. The only time failure becomes failure is when you don't learn from it. Who is the second identity we're going to be talking about? She's the tireless caregiver. She prioritizes other people's needs above her own. Her children, her partner, her extended family, and her community. Every other person's need is prioritized, but hers. She struggles with self-care, who is on that table, and guilt when taking time for herself. So there's a moment of rest. The kids are playing nicely in the living room, and then there's a moment she can sit down. As soon as she sits down, she just feels, I'm not supposed to be sitting down. Let me start arranging. There's no crime in resting. The internal narrative she carries is, everyone else must come first. My needs do not matter. And the third identity that we're going to be looking at is the silent endurer. She carries pain, emotional, physical, or financial, without asking for help. Now let's talk about our physical pain. Sometimes you're literally in pain. I understand that, especially for us who have small kids, it might be impossible to, just sit down. But what would happen if you're not there? I think we should start training our children to be able to stay without us for at least 30 minutes in a day. Once you're in physical pain, you can see the physical pain. You can't call someone else to help you. You can't call your husband to help you. You keep pushing through. And the thing about the danger about pushing through is that when you finally need the help, people won't recognize it because they're used to you limping and still carrying that bucket of water. They're used to you still, being available. So you're not just only training your body and your mind and your head and your heart. You're actually training the people around you. So we're watching this video online again, and then this woman, I don't know if it's true or it's fake. I have no means to verify, but I'm just saying what I saw. She falls on the floor and she collapses. And all her children could do was to be jumping up and down on top of her. I don't know the genesis of the story. But at that age, I feel, because it's possible, they could have been taught what to do. But no, you can't sit down, so you don't even think of teaching your children what to do without so simple things like put your toy away. You want to bend down and do it. Sister, sit down. Sit down. You're the silent endurer. You're in physical pain, but you're still there, trying your best, pushing through. And then they ask you, say, we are managing, we are pushing through. What does that even mean? Sit down. I give you permission today to sit down. The silent endurer suppresses her emotions to keep the peace. The internal narrative she carries is, I have to push through. No one else will understand. No one else can clean the way I can clean. No one else can cook the way I can cook. Oh, and now I can't make another. Okay, every day I must cook. I can't make an order. You can't do once a month. Let's just eat takeaway. I'm not a fan of takeaway, but once in a while, auntie, sister, mama, sit down. Or eat something simple. You don't have to be on your feet all the time. These are the things that steal the joy, cause the resentment. You're constantly doing the chores. You give your children the iPad, you give your children TV. They should come and stand with you. They're not too small to start learning. I've told my children now, the rule in our house is when mom is cleaning, you're with her. You might not do anything significant, but your being with me is a learning curve. Your being with me, you can help me pick up something and go and throw it in the bin. You can help me pick up the brush and go and keep it. Your being with me matters because you're learning by being with me. So that when I come into the room and you're watching TV and when I'm cleaning, I'm not using my angry voice to say, get out from this chair. Remove your you see I'm sweeping. Put your leg up. You see, that's the thing. Silent endurer. You detect what you want. Do you want people in the house who are fellow teammates with you, or do you want to be the heroine in the house? No. Let's sit down. Let's teach these kids, because you're now passing it to them. It's not necessarily about just teaching them chores. You are also passing them a narrative that they need to understand, that they are part of a family, they're part of a community. Sometimes it's such a shame that some people come into your house and they are not able to understand what it means to live in other people's houses. Start to teach. These are opportunities for learning. They're opportunities for growth. They're opportunities to help show your children what it means to be a part of a community, so that they're not carrying and living life all by themselves. So what are the practical solutions we can give to these three personas? The unbreakable one: you need to be able to create a safe space to share struggles. We've talked about a trusted friend. We talk a lot about journaling in our lives, and we talk about a support group. You can join us in our Becoming Her program, and have that support. Have people that think like you, a supportive group, people that will understand. You can be vulnerable to say blessing. It's an absolute blessing to have people whom you can be vulnerable with. Small step. Say out loud this week, I don't have it all together, and it's okay. We're all trying to figure that. The beauty about it is that we, even if you've read all these whole books behind me, there are still so many more books to be read. There's still so much to be learned. Knowledge is not exhaustible. So you don't need to pride yourself in being able to do everything by yourself, for yourself, in yourself. There's no pride in that. We were created for community. The second thing the second thing we um the second solution for the tireless caregiver will be reclaim boundaries. So something like prioritize self-care without guilt by setting small non-negotiable boundaries. I've said it here before. I have my closing time in the house. Sorry, I do. I have a closing time. After 6, you don't want to see. I don't want to be seen in the kitchen. Sometimes, of course, things happen. Maybe we've gone for gymnastics, or we've gone for something, and then we come back late. But I tell my kids, once I'm done with food, if you want any other thing, and it's something that I have to physically be there to give to you, I'm not available. I learned it from my mom, actually. She had a closing time for her kitchen, because why would I be in the kitchen even till 12 midnight? Because what, I have kids, for what? I have a closing time. I have a closing time for my tummy too. You to rest. Tummy, rest. Sit down. We don't need to be in the kitchen all the time. It's not our workplace. So you can do something like block 15 minutes daily for something that nourishes you. Block a time. Block a time. When you train the children around in your house, when you train the people around you about your non-negotiable boundaries, they will, you see, children are not that difficult, I must say. At first they will push back, but when they see you consistent, in what, in a certain thing, my children now know, okay, this at this time, if you wake up, if they make mistake and wake up at a certain time, they will find me in a certain place every day at the same time. They know it. And when they come in, they just come in and sit down quietly, waiting for mommy to finish what she's doing at that time. That's Debbie's time. Or you're not, they drag that time together. And they've gotten, before, when the 5-year-old was a bit smaller, she would drag that time with me. I will drag it back from her. I'm not going to be here forever. I'm not going to be in that 20-minute space forever. But you need to learn that, mommy, that boundaries are necessary. Because also, it's good that you teach them that they need to have their boundaries. They need to have a time when it's quiet and it's for them. The third solution for the silent endurer will be practice speaking your needs in low-risk environments first. So what's a low-risk environment? In your home, with your husband, with your good friends. Just practice it. I need 10 minutes to rest. I need 5 minutes to sit down. Just speak your need. I don't want to make lunch today. Can you make your lunch yourself? Children, make a sandwich. Mommy doesn't want to be in the kitchen. There's nothing hard in making a sandwich. Butter your bread, fold it together, eat it. I don't want to be in the kitchen right now. I just want to finish this book. It's not being selfish. Small step, tell someone you trust exactly what you need. You can have a friend, a very good friend, whom sometimes they bring their kids to your house for her to rest. Sometimes you take your kids to their house for them to rest. Have friendships like that. Have a friend like that. Sometimes her kids are here, she's in her house. Sometimes my kids are in her house, and our kids are here. Let form communities in your. Don't isolate yourself. It doesn't help. Obviously, I'm not asking you to just go to the street and go and meet a random stranger. No, someone who shares your values, someone who honors you as a person, someone who understands you as a person. Practice it with safe adults. We tell our children safe adults. Have a safe adult. Silence shifts to self-advocacy, making space for honesty and healing. Speak how you feel. You might not speak it, you might speak it after you've processed it. But if the people around you don't understand, especially for your partners, if they don't understand how you feel, that there's this, it's something will keep repeating itself, because nobody can read your minds. So what are our practicals. I'm almost done. I'm not going to stay here for long because it's the holiday, and we're not staying here for today. Was just supposed to be a very short practical session. Today was supposed to just be a short practical session. So in sorry, should I brought my water? So these are the things we've talked about. I want you to now think to yourself right now. Think of of the smile you wear most often. What's the smile that you wear most often? Think of that smile. Is it the smile of I am hiding something? Is it the smile of when did I first learn to wear it? Just just ask. That smile that when they ask you how are you, where did you first learn to smile, that make that smile? Was it from your childhood? Was it from your mom? Was it from your grandmother? You always saw your mom smiling, even though you could sense the emotions around her, you could sense the pain around her. What do you wish you could say instead of that smile? I love people who smile. I wish I had a smiling face. But we're not talking of the smile, to be polite. We're talking about the smile that hides the burden that you carry. We're talking about the smile that you have practiced over the years and has become your identity. Those are the smile. That's the smile that we are talking about. So I want you to think about it this morning, or sorry, this afternoon. And every time you smile, I want you to be able to reflect and ask yourself, what type of smile is this? What kind of burden am I carrying? Where did I learn to carry this burden? Have I been always throughout my life been pushing myself, Have I been taught to just keep pushing because I'm a strong black? You know what they say, black don't crack. We crack. We crack. Let's stop all those narratives. Maybe maybe physically, the flesh and the way our body shines and we're always popping, maybe that way. But inside, do we not crack? So next time you do that smile, next time, ask yourself, does this smile come from the hidden burden of performing strength? Just because I have been taught over and over again that as a woman I have to be strong. And with these questions, I will give you three practical takeaways as I go off. Three practical takeaway. The first one is you want to name the mask. Notice when you are smiling out of habit versus when you are smiling out of genuine joy. No, give yourself permission to pause. Let your face rest. You don't have to everybody else wants you to be, hippity hoppity. If you're not feeling okay, go and meet that friend we've talked about. you know Give yourself permission to rest. Cry if you need to cry. Let it out if you need to let it out. Book a discovery call with me if you need to book a discovery call with me. It's okay. It's okay to show emotions. It's okay to be vulnerable. There's nobody on this planet earth, as far as we're on this side of eternity, that does not have an emotional burden to carry. So it's okay. I like that you're carrying it with strength, but is it the strength that you're cracking inside but you can't speak? And the next time you smile, the next time you feel burdened and feel overwhelmed and you feel the need to smile, choose 1 to 2 people you can be unfiltered with. We've said that so many times. So at this point, I just want to thank you for another Friday live. Thank you for your time. Thank you for joining us all the time. Enjoy your holiday with your kids. Book a call with me if you need to talk. I'm a safe space. I would not judge you. I've been through so much that you are going through, so it's not peculiar to you. And I'm on this side of this, on this live, smiling at you. But I know that I want your smile to be genuine. I want your smile to be deep from your heart. And I want it to be well with you. So till I see you next week, keep smiling. But remember, let it not be the smile from a burden, let it be the smile from your heart. Hey, mamas, let's start living.